Antonio Conte, a man that should definitely be at a big club if it wasn't for the incompetence of them North London clubs. Because he didn't have the bottle or the ambition to get such a manager. So I thought, let's look at one of the best managers in the world who took Chelsea to a Premier League and Inter to a Serie A for the first time since Mourinho was there years ago. You can download the link below and use it for your Inter Milan save or an array of other clubs because I think it could work for many clubs, this formation. Or you can use it as a template to modify and create your own. So Conte has played with a 3-5-2 at Inter Milan. He's a manager who demands a lot of his players, and it's all built on hard work. This is a typical formation you'd see, and this is how it'd look with Inter Milan under Conte. The roles themselves are important. You got a sweeper, keeper, goalkeeper. You got a ball playing defender. This is very important as we play out from the back. You can play it to the centre backs alongside him. Got two options there. You've also got the wing backs who can run up into space, or you can pass it on to Broznovic, who is very important for this formation, who will then distribute it further up the pitch. So you then obviously have your two wing backs. They need to be on support. They need to go forward, or the attack won't have a lot of bite to them, but also need to be disciplined. They need to get back and defend. So you do not want them on attacking or defending. You want them on support. You want them to get forward but not be over the top because they need to get back. You then have your three midfielders, your Mazzella, your box-to-box midfielder, and your deep line playmaker. The key to this formation is this deep line playmaker. He needs to defend. That's very important. He's the one who's going to be sitting in front of the defence when these two go on. He's also the one who tends to take off the centre-back and distribute it out to the wing backs or another midfielder, or even a ball to the strikers if they get into the right positions. It's important to have someone who's good defensively, but also an excellent passer, and someone good under pressure also help too. You then have your two attacking players, Mazzella, who can drift into half spaces to be passed to, and your box to box, who will be running up and down the pitch, supporting the attack, but also getting back and helping the midfield out too. Very important that them two are on support as well. They need to support the attacks and support the two strikers. You don't have your two strikers, your target man. This is important. You need someone to hold the ball up because this is all based on midfielders bombing up or your wing back. So you need to hold it up for these players to run in the box and help create chances. That's why you want someone who's attacking on both ends here. Make sure they get forward and they can score. They can make a good pass, a killer pass. Also an advance forward, someone who these two can link up together well. And just someone who's threatening, someone who can get up, someone who can play with the target man and also the other players supporting him. So that's a basic overview. So let's go into more detail. So out of possession, you're going to have a standard defensive line, that's fine, but you're going to have a lower line of engagement. I'll explain this in more detail in a bit, but essentially they're only pressing when they're back in position, lower down the pitch, lower line of engagement. They want to be all in order and in right positions, and that's when they will press. Use tighter marking. Conte does love to do man marking, essentially man for man, and also pressing intensity is going to be more urgent. When they are pressing, you want to be quite urgent with it, and fast counterattacks are very important to Inter. So it's important when we press, it is urgent. So when you lose possession, want to regroup. This is very important. They will essentially retreat into that 5-3-2. So if you can imagine here, you've got your three centre backs, your wing backs will come in, and your three will then come just in front, essentially pretty much right here. And you will have your two strikers who will also come back and they will help press from the front. And this essentially makes it easier to come around the outside rather than in the middle. I'll explain why that's important in a minute. But essentially makes it really, really hard to come through the middle and essentially nullifies the attack of the opponent. Also, this is used because they don't want to be countered. When they lose the ball, they want to get everyone back into this position so they're defensively strong. They nullify a lot of the opponent's attack and they're not getting caught on them counter-attacks. Obviously, it will take time for the more advanced players to get back fully in position. But what will happen most of the time is you'll have one midfielder going up and these two will slot in here and your wing backs will come back here. And you'll essentially have this pretty quick and then the rest of the players will join them as quick as possible to get into a nice position, nullify the opponent and make it very hard for them to score. So once we regroup, we will counter. That's very important. So we want to come back, get into shape, be hard to break down, and then that's when we're going to counter. It's important to have regroup and counter because what you want to do is regroup, encourage the opposition fullbacks to come down the sides, which leaves space behind, which is where Inter counter the most. So because you have so many players in the middle, it's crowded, it's hard to get through, they're nullified. The fullbacks come down the edge, and that's where Inter normally pass their balls to get that quick counter on. Inter have these quick counter attacks that are also quite direct too. So they want to be direct balls, normally to either the fullbacks or the two strikers or one of the attacking midfielders. But essentially, what they normally do is pass in them spaces created by the fullbacks coming forward and coming down the side because they can't come through the middle, and that's how they exploit the opponent. We've also got distributed centre backs. You know about that, passing it to the three centre backs who can then distribute it to each other. They can distribute it to each of the wing backs, or they can distribute it to the deep lying playmaker as well. So that's important to have on. It's all about building the play up. And finally, you have in possession. So when we're attacking in possession, you want to get wide. This is very important, as I just said, as they normally play into the spaces left behind by the fullbacks. Attacking width is very important. It needs to be on wide. This is because this links to what I've said just, where the fullbacks at a position will come down the sides of this formation, leaving space at the back. So the players need to go wide because that's where the spaces are likely to be when they set up like this. So you want attacking width wide, very important. You want the players to get out, quick counters, pass into space, which is going to be them wide areas. And also, you want wide because you want to spread the play. If there's only 2 or 3 players who you got to deal with, you want to be wide. You want to create a lot of space for each player. They can play them killer balls and get people in good positions and just cause a lot of issues for the opposition. We have direct counters with Inter, so it's important to pass into space. You want to pass into one of them strikers, you want to pass into one of them wing backs who can bomb up and just make something happen. So again, here, links to here, more direct, tempo higher. You want quick attacks and you want to be working hard, not just attacking. You want to get back quickly to get into shape. That also links to pressing once you're in shape to get the ball back, and also a high tempo when you got the ball to run into them spaces left behind by their fullbacks and really make use of them counters by having a high tempo. As we know, with Conte, a lot of it is to do with hard work. You have to have a really good work ethic. So if you're looking to buy players for this sort of tactic, you need someone who can work hard, like a McTominay, like a Conte. These sort of workhorses, you definitely need them in this team. So overlap left, overlap right, very important. All the wing backs will overlap or they are underlap and support the 2 strikers. That's why we have a target man. Someone can hold the ball up, kick it out to a wing back, kick it out to midfielder, maybe just a back pass and they can shoot. Any sort of combination like that, or just hold it up for his other striker. But so essentially the attacks are made up of 2 strikers who would then be supported by one of the 2 attacking midfielders and the wing backs. So overlaps obviously very important. They can get a cross in and they just distract the opposition as well. Play out defence, of course, we know about that. Distribute centre backs speaks for itself. We already talked about that. So what we want to know is it's very important to overload the box, and that's why overlap is on. That's why you have 2 attacking midfielders and 1 deep line playmaker, because these 4 are essentially very important to the attack because you've only got 2 strikers up there on their own. So these are the players who are going to exploit that space and make them quick counter attacks. No specific instructions here in the final third at all just normal. Don't need to mess about with any of that. It's all fine. You don't want to be too disciplined, you don't want to be too expressive. Don't necessarily want to run at the defence. You want to have them in difficult positions. You don't want to dribble less, play for set pieces, etc. So that is pretty much the tactic in a nutshell. We will see how it does in a match, but that is essentially how Conte's Inter Milan play. Your 3 centre-backs who can build up from the back, gives you lots of options. These 2 will go wide, gives you options either way. You got the fullbacks as well, and your deep line playmaker who is very responsible for a lot of things. You got your 2 wing backs who are very important both defensively but also getting up and supporting the attack. Your deep line playmaker is vital. He's essentially the rock of the team. Balls are playing to him, and he distributes it where it needs to go. And they need to be good at attacking, and they need to get forward and support the attack. And there needs to, one will obviously do his job and try and be as good as a striker as he can. And then you have the two up front, you have your attacking forward, who is the one who's mostly going to look for the balls, and your target man, who when it's best will pick the ball up, hold it off, and wait for one of these midfielders or wing backs to come in and make a chance for them. So that is how we do it. We'll have a look at this in a match against Atalanta to see how it plays. This is a match against Atalanta. I thought I'd show you against a decent opposition to see how it is. So we can see here how they press from the front. The opposition have the ball, but you can see how everyone's back. Everyone gets back when they've not got the ball. Very tight. You've got your three centre-backs. And you can just see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players almost in a line there, making it very hard for opposition to do anything about it. You can see how clustered the midfield is and how it pushes players down the wing, especially the fullbacks. When they get the ball, they're going to be quite direct. Hopefully they'll show us a nice bit of play. So playing out well. Deep line playmaker there with his roll. Quite a direct style of play, getting down the wings. Free kick there. So we can see everyone gets back. They regroup on the ball. The opposition are pushed primarily down the wings. See what I mean here? Fullbacks are pushed down, and that's where they exploit the space. You can see that big space on the left now when his fullback comes up. And they're the areas they normally go to. But you can see they never really get countered because they always regroup, always hard to score against. And really do. You can just see how many interplayers is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 at the back. You have 2 or 3 in front of them. It's very hard. And they are pushed down the sides, as you can see here, perfectly. So they get the ball back. It's going to go down the wings, supported by the fullbacks. Nice ball and a goal. So there you go. Perfect example of how interplay. Goal disallowed. But still, let's see this goal. It doesn't matter too much. Perisic, lovely ball. Get it down the wing. Get it a direct cross in. And you get a nice goal. Obviously didn't get a win there, but you can see how the formation works. They had a good match. It was just against a tough opposition and it didn't really go as we wanted to. But you can see the basic ideas I just talked about with Inter Milan. You saw them playing out from the back. You saw it going to the deep line playmaker who made the moves with the fullbacks and centre mids. You also saw how hard it is for the opposition to get near their box. You saw they couldn't get through the middle. They had to go down the wings. And you can see how that would open up space for them counter-attacks. Thank you all for watching. That's been my Conte's 5-3-2 tactical analysis that you can use in FM. The link will be below. Let me know if there's any more tactics you want to be shown on this channel, and I'll happily do them. Let me know if you like these. And what else do you want me to do on this channel? I do experiments, simulations, anything FM related. So let me know. Let's grow this community. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.